Welcome to Speedify Live. I'm your host, Alex Gizis, and believe it or not, this is our 29th episode. Crazy, right? Our special guest today is Sam Proof, actor, writer, award-winning creator of the Sam Proof Show and the Path to Publication.
Yeah.
And most importantly, the brains behind the CuteAvalanche.
That's right.
What we're gonna talk about a lot here. So right now, let's just talk about setup. I'm on a Windows PC. We're using Restream Studio, streaming over Speedify to the internet, where Restream is then sending it to YouTube and my Twitter and my LinkedIn and the company Twitch account and everywhere else that you might be watching right now. We are live, so if you have questions for me, if you have questions for Sam, just ask them in the comments underneath wherever you are watching this video, and we will see them and we will answer them, and that is part of the fun here.
Yeah. Hey, Ryan. Hey, Insomnia. I see some familiar faces already.
Sam, never heard of it. I assume that's a joke.
It is, because I'm pretty sure we're going to talk about Insomnia later based on things I sent you.
Yeah. Cool. So, the goal here on Speedify Live is to, help everyone improve their streaming, right? I mean, we want to be better live streamers. We want to be better presenters. We want to market our stuff better. And you are streaming 24/7, aren't you, Sam?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the kitten cam never goes down. We occasionally do like a 20-second downtime to restart, maybe a couple minutes here and there to update software. But for the most part, for the last 4.5 years, it's been streaming.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
What is Speedify? Oh, my gosh. I failed you as a host. So Speedify is our software, and it runs in the background. It runs on PC, Mac, Android, iPhone, Linux. You can put it on a little device like a Raspberry Pi if you have one of these little computers, and it lets you use all of your internet connections at the same time. It's really cool. So we have an iPhone tethered, and I'm on Wi-Fi, and hopefully I remember to plug in my Ethernet. Maybe I didn't. Doesn't matter. I have multiple internet connections, and any one of them can just crap out, and this stream will keep going. So for anyone live streaming or at work doing Microsoft Teams calls or Google Hangouts or Zoom, it just makes everything much, much more reliable, and it's really important. So you just run in the background, then you use whatever software you usually run, and it's cool. All right. Yeah, we got a lot of people showing up here. You have some fans, huh, Sam?
Yeah, the kitten crew is in full effect.
All right. So why don't you tell us a little bit about it? For those who don't know, tell us about CuteAvalanche.
Sure. So CuteAvalanche gets its name from it actually started as a Tumblr way back when Tumblr was cool. And I was just kind of messing around with curating RSS feeds and that sort of thing and automation. And I was like, I am just going to do a vertical of cute animals. And I was like, I already got the cute. And I'm like, so when I was going for names, I was like, this is kind of just like a big mess of just stuff just shooting out. And then that's where the name CuteAvalanche comes from. Because like Tumblr, it's a big scrolling thing. So it's always constantly avalanching down your page. So that's what it was. In its heyday, I think we hit 500,000 followers on Tumblr. And at some point, my wife came to me and was like, I would like to foster cats. And my immediate response was, if I can live stream it, yes. So, that was, an earlier conversation, and eventually ended up happening due to some crazy whims of fate. And so, yeah, we moved on from being a Tumblr to being a 24/7 stream. Originally, we were just on Facebook, running off of I had an iPhone on top of a crate, because we deal specifically in small kittens. So often they spend the first few weeks in a crate or something, at least at night. And I would just have it plugged in and tethered and going, and it was horrible. And eventually, I actually found Restream. So not to promote them too much, but I did find
It's
them
all right.
in time, and I upgraded from the iPhone to an old laptop, which was almost a vertical move, like a horizontal move, and not really a step up. But we started to use OBS and multicast to different platforms, and then for a considerable amount of time, I have it somewhere over there, I ran off of a Byte 3, which is, if anyone knows, a mini PC, which isn't much bigger than a Raspberry Pi. And we did that for a considerable, maybe a year and a half, 2 years. And then we upgraded to a PC. We did a big fundraising drive and upgraded to that, and made that our home base tech-wise. And yeah, we started fostering early on 4.5 years ago and never stopped. We got into it and we just never took really any downtime. A little bit here and there for holidays, and that was it.
Right. Okay, so what kind of cameras are you using these days?
All kinds. We have 8 cameras that are in the room right now that you can switch to through the channel points. We have the standard Logitech C920, which everyone has. We have an old camcorder. We have a CCTV system, which is actually considered one camera as far as the stream is concerned, but in itself is 4 other cameras. We have an iPad that is constantly hooked up, which is terrible for its battery, I found out. So I'm going to have to change that. We have a couple cheapo webcams that are almost as good as the Logitech. We have a GoPro, and we just, thanks to a viewer donation, shout out to Turner, got a OBS Bot Tiny, which is a PTZ camera. So it does the full pan, tilt, zoom 360 essentially.
So who's pan, tilting, and zooming it?
So it has 3 presets that I set in there, and the chat can actually control to go to any of those 3 presets.
Okay.
So you basically go to
Camp 7. Talk about that interactive chat part of it.
Yeah. So we have the cam switcher, which allows our users to control what we have 2 cam positions, which is a big camera called main and a picture-in-a-picture called PIP. They can switch to any of the 8 cameras within either of those positions. They can move around the picture-in-a-picture to any of the corners, so they can do top left, bottom right, any version of that. We have a bunch of LEDs behind some of our cat shelves. They can change the colors. These lights here, basically, but in the other room. Sorry, I'm not in the kitten room. That was not practical. It has no real audio scenario happening. So yeah, they can control the light colors. There are a bunch of overlays that pop up on screen that you can control. And we do a bunch of different events throughout the year. We did St. Catrick's Day. We do a SuPURRbowl in February where we have the cats divided on teams. We deck out the room, and then the audience can assign, goals and stuff by donating, and they can drop messages to the cats and stuff like that, or activate sound effects like cheers and air horns, things like that. Yeah.
So do we have some pictures? I think you sent a picture of Halloween. So is that right?
Yeah, our most recent event was the Spookity Halloween event, which was a trick-or-treating event. So you can see on screen that little vampire cat, and then our cauldron cat in the bottom right on our watermark that denotes that a trick cat treater has shown up. And then our viewers would rush to give them a treat. You would also be able to find treats randomly around the cameras, which would look like a candy corn cat, thanks to Insomnia Doodles, who drew the cauldron cat and that candy corn cat for us. Yeah, I love that candy corn cat. It's amazing. It's so good. And yeah,
good job, Insomnia Doodles.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a pretty simplistic game on the surface. It's really just finding treats. You could even buy the treats with channel point rewards. And then whenever the random Trick Hat treaters showed up, just being the first one to give them a treat. And then it would give you points. And every 1,000 points would give you, would rank you up. There were 10 ranks. We had, I think it was 5 people made it all the way to level 10 in a 30-day span. Including CG, who's in the chat right now. CG, I think, was the second person to do it. We had over 6,000 user interactions, which were seen by something like 800,000 viewers. So it's pretty cool. I did not expect it to do as good as it did. I was like, people are going to get more of this in like 2 weeks. But it worked.
All right. So, I mean, all this interactive stuff, this is pretty technical stuff. What did you do before this? I mean, are you the one programming this stuff up?
I am. So I wouldn't say I'm programming it. I use a bot. I use a chat bot called Mix It Up that has a pretty good visual sort of coding block thing. So it's not like I'm in the dregs of JavaScript, like plugging away. Right. I'm trying to learn that stuff, but I don't have a lot of time on my hands with a full-time job and 2 kids and all of this other stuff going on. But yeah, I essentially plug and play those code bits.
And so what's like controlling lights and like what system is it on?
So it's a combination of the Mix It Up bot and IFTTT, and then that goes to
if this then that, right?
Yes. Yeah. If you're not familiar, there's a website called ifttt.com, and it connects to like 100 or more different platforms and devices. So, like your Govee lights or your Hue lights, and there's actually the ones we have in the kitten room are just connected to the Smart Life app. So the physical light gets plugged into its Wi-Fi receptor, and then on our computer, we have the chatbot Mix It Up run a command. So somebody does !purple. The chatbot sees it, sends a webhook to IFTTT, which has a routine built in that looks for the word purple, and purple triggers the Smart Life app, turns the lights purple. So,
Okay. So I say IFT. I don't know if that's right.
I call it that
too.
I do.
Yeah. All the time. What I've set up is in Slack. So I've set it up so it's watching, it's searching Twitter for Speedify or my name.
Nice. Yep.
And it's looking. I've got like a whole list, including the data. The government's running databases of software with security vulnerabilities.
Yeah,
it's searching that every 15 minutes to make sure that we're never mentioned, and we never have been. But I got a Slack channel where if it ever is, it gets posted. Anytime anybody posts about Speedify or whatever, it shows up in my Slack. So it's a great little thing for this kind of basic automation of
So
if this then that, right?
So IFT has a Slack integration as well. And actually, one of our more complicated things is we've had to, thankfully not often, but we had to create some alert triggers for our moderators, like if there was a cat in distress, so we have like a red alert feature, and if they trigger it, it'll do a litany of things, including post on our Slack, post on our Discord, send me a text message, turn the lights in the living room red, and a few other things. It'll secretly clip stuff and make a few marks and things like that. So yeah, it's been great. Insomnia says their alert triggers are so cool. Thanks. It would be a catastrophe. Kane, I can't believe I've never used that in reference to this specifically.
Kane. All right. So what else? Yeah. So we talked about your cameras, and you guys don't do any audio.
It's on my list of next big pushes is to upgrade our audio to something serious. Like right now, we literally use the Logitech audio, and it's not it's not good. It's not this quality.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And let's see. So, which platforms do you stream to? I certainly see your stuff on YouTube, but I think you're also on Twitch. Where else?
Streaming wise, we became affiliates on Twitch earlier this year. So we doubled down on only Twitch. But prior to that, we were doing something like 14 different platforms through Restream and Mobcrush. And it was all the big ones. So it was YouTube, Periscope, which is now just Twitter. Mixer was huge for us when Mixer was around. DLive and Trovo, and a bunch of smaller ones as well. Good Game was really good for us with the Russian base for a long time.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess that's always the big trade-off, right? Of like right now we're streaming to I don't know how many places. Actually, we got carried away. We're just streaming to everywhere we can, right?
Roland
22 places. 22 places. Roland just texted me. But there are other people who have said that that they actually got better when they stripped it down to one, so that everyone making comments saw everyone's comments and people could actually get into conversations.
Definitely.
So I don't know, two different schools of thought.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in live streaming for a long time, and I've promoted, the usage of multi-streaming for early on, like smaller streamers, definitely. And we just got to a point where, so first we had like a big rise on Mixer. We hit 10,000, followers on Mixer, and all of our interactives were tied to Mixer really, because they had that really great dashboard, which is similar to what Twitch has with the channel points, but it was just such a better UI. And then when they went away, there was kind of a panic moment of like, I don't even know what to focus on anymore. And it looked for a long time like DLive was going to be our thing. And then within like a few weeks, Twitch just started to like get back, I guess, a lot of those users. And we started to see a lot of growth there. And we started kind of talking about maybe we would go to affiliate and follow that route. And I really pushed back on it for a long time because, we really did get a lot of multi-stream traffic. And we were using, there's a paid bot called Botissimo that has like a really decent like chat relay. I know Restream also has some amount of chat relay where it goes back and forth, but I think the Botissimo one was a little better. But it just got to a point where our growth on Twitch got so good so fast that my wife was like, I think we should just do it and see what it's like for a few months. So we, turned on the affiliate thing a few months ago, and so far so good.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
So is that true that Twitch doesn't allow affiliates to do multi-stream?
That's true. It is a clause in both their affiliate and partner contract, and they're different clauses. With the affiliate contract, you can't simultaneously multi-stream. With the partner contract, it's more exclusive. You can't do it. You can't stream to any other platform at all. Really? So like with affiliates, I always tell people like, if you're going to be an affiliate, this is what you do. Go live on everything else an hour before you plan on doing your main stream on Twitch. Do a just chatting kind of thing everywhere else. And then at the end of that, you're like, all right, we're going to continue this over on Twitch. And you take those 20 people over.
Okay. That's interesting. Yeah. So Twitch is constantly emailing me to be an affiliate. I stream a couple minutes too few a week. Right? They're telling me like you have the audience and you have this and you have that, but
right.
we want to see 3 hours a week and you're doing 2.5 hours a week. But every other metric, I'm apparently way past what they need for an affiliate. Makes me think maybe I think I could stream and have nobody listening and just get me to the minutes, but I don't. That's really true. Care that. I don't really care that much. I don't know. Do they do something wonderful for you or?
I mean, obviously.
So what are the benefits of being a Twitch affiliate?
So, I mean, the big ones are like monetization. So you get the subscriber button and you get ad revenue, which, you know, for a channel our size, ad revenue is like $1 a month or something. It's, you know, as far as any kind of actual money, it's going to be the subscription thing. If we were a game channel, we might see more value in it because there's more things that are oriented toward those gamers, like Twitch drops and things like that. The things that I'm actually excited about, because it's not the money, is what Insomnia just said, the channel points, which help us with the interactives, because that can be tied right into our bot. So you can control the cameras through channel points, and also just emotes. I honestly am more excited about emotes than like the whole monetization aspect of it. Ironically, like we did put in a application for partner, and I was like, I don't think it's going to happen. I'm not super excited about it. All I've ever wanted is, so when you get affiliate, you get a certain set of emotes, and then they released this beta set called follower only emotes, which I have two channels. I have the Kitten Cam and I have the Sam Proof channel. The Sam Proof channel I created in something like 2008. So I get access to all the beta things. Like I think I got this a year before, you know, like a lot of other channels, where I got those follower emotes, and I was like, God, why don't I get this on the Kitten Cam? And like a day after we got denied for being partner, we got those follower emotes, and I was like, yes, this is all I ever wanted. 5 new emote slots. There they are. So,
nice.
Yeah. But yeah, I think there's probably some other benefits that that other people might find more important, like your archives last longer and stuff like that. I can't remember anything else that seems super important. But yeah.
Yeah, that is important. It is annoying how the videos go away. Although, I mean, I guess a lot of videos on Twitch, you had to be there, and they're not that valuable later.
But there's not a whole lot of replay value on 90% of streams or something like that. Something like this, I think, has a lot more replay
and
value.
they're all on our YouTube. So yeah. YouTube, go look for Speedify, and they're all there. Yeah. So how do you promote the streams? How do people know about?
So there's actually a good amount of in-platform promotion. We got a lot of viewers who are super supportive of us that do like hosting or auto hosting or raids, where they just at the end of their stream push their user base into our stream, which is awesome. We've had some really high level streamers like Amaranth recently doing raids, which has been like, we go from 20 viewers to like 10,000, and it's like, oh, hi, how you doing? Which is super cool. Outside of Twitch, I've been in the past few months kind of focusing a whole lot on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, specifically YouTube Shorts.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So what you have other stuff, the Sam Proof show and Path to Publication. You want to talk about those for a second? Yeah.
So those are like, Path to Publication is pretty old. Like I had my heyday on YouTube in like 2007, like early on, and I was making a series of videos for, I was aspiring writer, and so I was kind of documenting a lot of that whole process. And then my life kind of went sideways from that dream. my passion seemed to overshoot my dreams. But yeah, so I was doing a lot of video content on YouTube at the time for that. I did a lot of sketch comedy, which is more of the Sam Proof show kind of stuff. And just lifestyle vlogs of like, this is what I'm doing today. I'm going down to Florida, whatever. I still do a small amount of sort of that personal family brand. I do my own Twitch streams now, which are primarily Magic the Gathering or coding days or board games. And I haven't made a whole lot of sort of YouTube content for myself. Pretty much as far as Sam Proof goes, it's Twitch and Twitter.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So one thing we talk about a lot here is Streamergencies. And so it's a word we've made up to describe that situation.
Streamergency. The stressful situation when one's live stream breaks down or cuts out unexpectedly.
When the internet breaks down or cuts out unexpectedly. Have you guys had any problems with internet connectivity?
So we're based in Los Angeles, where our only real provider is Spectrum, and they notoriously have some horrible issues. We'll have like either just a general blackout, or like there was like a 24-hour period, I feel like it was last fall, or it might have been in the spring, where it just went down. Whenever you hear it's like wildfire season out here, there's a good chance our internet might go down.
Okay. Wildfire season. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful California.
I think it's the winds that blow the lines too hard, and that's it.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah.
So you're in LA, right? I think.
Yeah.
Most people know that, right? So how long have you been in LA?
21 years, almost 22. Wow. I actually moved here early January of 2000, just so the math would be easy.
That's convenient. Yeah. All right. So what did you do before this? Did you? I guess by now that you've been doing this for enough years, it's.
Yeah. I mean, before the kitten cam itself. So I've been like a web creator for almost since the web existed. Like, you know, my big push into just being a person who created content online started in like 1992 or something, back with like Earthlink and AOL Online and all those things. And I would make websites, and I would do Flash animation videos, and that kind of led to, you know, somewhere around 2006, 2005, I actually answered a listing, because I in LA already. I answered a listing for an audition. I went down to this relatively sketchy studio on Santa Monica Boulevard, and I walk in, and there's just this one big room with like a green screen shooting down the center and 12 computers lining up the sides of it. And this was my introduction to live streaming. It was this company called Operator 11, and they just have me come in and do a show like twice a week for an hour. And I was like, this is awesome. Yeah.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then 1993, I was studying for a final, and a friend of mine, I was in college, and a friend of mine called, you have to come down to the computer. I have a final tomorrow. He said, this is more important than your final. Get down here. So I come down, and he had Mosaic web browser that could show pictures. He had a beta of it.
Yep.
And we stayed up all night and visited every website in the world, right? And we learned HTML. And I think, you know, 6 weeks later, it was impossible for anyone to visit every website in the world, right? It was just exploding so fast immediately.
Yeah. No, I've hand-coded my fair share of websites. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the coolest thing. Figuring out HTML and viewing source to figure out what this thing was, and that's cool. Yeah. So I was pretty close to the beginning.
Yeah.
If only I was competent at business.
I feel the same way. Like, for every success I've had, I've always been like, damn, I wish I had a better ability to turn this around into something bigger. That has been a roadblock for me, for sure.
So what do you watch? Are you watching any creators these days? Like, you know, what are their live streams? Are there blogs?
Yeah. I mean, I have a small window of free time to watch people. I watch, you know, a good amount of educational content, like learning to code things or just music. But as far as individual people, I have a couple of friends that I drop in on their streams. Insomnia Doodles is one of them when she streams. I watch a bunch of board game streamers. So Book of Nerds and Panda Angel, I think is her full name, who do a bunch of games together and often on their own, and a few other. The board game community on Twitch is very like tight knit. Everyone knows each other. It's a great community. I love them. It's primarily that kind of thing. I don't watch a lot of video game streams, although I work in an industry where I should be watching more video game streams.
Yeah. Any plans to add a puppy in the mix?
We actually just fostered our first dog. Insomnia said this. So Hans the dog was a 13-year-old dog whose owner passed away. He was actually originally adopted through Kitten Rescue, who we volunteer through. That's who we foster through. So when Hans's owner passed, Kitten Rescue kind of stepped in and took charge and got Hans over to us to foster until like a new adopter could be found. And we actually just adopted him out a few weeks ago.
Nice.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah.
All right. Old man, huh? 13?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Get my 9-year-old dog at my feet here.
Nice.
He doesn't like cameras. I don't know how he knows what they are, but
I know every once in a while
he knows to avoid them.
Yeah, we get some cats where I'm like, this cat knows. This cat absolutely knows this is a camera and it's looking at it. Like,
all right. All right. Yeah, it is tough to find the time to stream. I think you just have to schedule it. I mean, that's what I did.
Yeah.
I mean, I was too busy to stream, and then I just put these on my calendar.
Pretty much it.
I mean, do them. And turns out there is time.
Yeah, that's part of the impetus for why the Kitten Cam started it all, because like I was having a hard time finding the ability to do my personal streams and schedule it around a full-time job and having kids. My kids were very young at the beginning, of the Kitten Cam. So when that opportunity showed up, I was like, definitely, I'm going to do a 24/7 stream. It's low maintenance. The schedule is always.
Yeah. So how do you keep up with things, right? I mean, obviously you found IFT and the bots, but it just seems like everything's changing, all the time. So how do you keep up on the changes in streaming and technology and all that stuff?
I feel like I've created a life where I don't have a choice at this point. It's just something I've surrounded myself with and I'm submerged by it. And it's like from my hobbies to my work life, I can't avoid knowing what the changes are and hearing what the updates are and things like that. Yeah. I don't even know that I seek things out. I just know, like, okay, that's happening. There's a new feature. I found it. There are a few people I watch, like Ashney Christ and Roberto Blake, who, stay very topical on when new things come out, so I can keep up with them as well.
All right. Any plans to do board game streams again?
I was literally thinking about this on the stream that I did. Was that yesterday? I was like, man, I really want to get back into it. I'm not sure. The biggest hurdle with the board game streams is it's a free time thing where I'm like, I usually go straight into my workday, into my stream. So it's literally like I have 3 minutes to set things up. And if that's a board game, I need longer. So either the first 10 minutes of the stream are going to be me setting it up, or I just do Magic the Gathering, which is on the computer. So I'd like to. I'm just not sure yet.
So something got the dog excited there, and he ran off, barking. Hopefully, I'm not being robbed. No, if I was being robbed, he'd hide here. If he's being bold, it means he knows there's no actual risk.
Yeah,
he's a big faker. All right. So what do you think is coming next? I mean, you have any thoughts on the future of live streaming?
Sure. I think there's a couple ways it's going to go, and I think it's going to splinter, and we'll see how the platforms react to this. But I think the first thing that we're already kind of seeing is a combination of things are going to like start getting even more niche, and like you're going to see a lot more communities form, sort of like the board game community, where it's like this is a core group of people and they do streams and they do this, and it's going to just keep splintering in that sense. You'll see more sites, like community style sites, show up. There's a lot right now for gaming, and the just chatting crowd is going to catch up with, you know, just like mini Facebooks for live streamers and their viewers who are interested in pottery, whatever it is. I think the other thing we're going to see, everyone's talking metaverse and AR and VR, and I think that's naturally a big push forward on where live streaming is going to go. And we'll have to see how both the platforms and the hardware like collaborate on those things, because that's what it's going to have to be, is a more immersive thing. Because right now you can watch live streams in VR, but it's akin to watching a television. But it's going to have to get to that point of almost the AR within the VR, you know, of like streaming and experiencing that stream as the streamer almost. The
New York Times once upon a time did some cool VR interviews, and there was one with an artist where he sat in a room and they completely lined every wall with his art.
Oh, neat.
And so he sat there talking about his art, and you could choose to watch him and do it, or you could wander off and actually look at the works of art, because he carefully put them all around. They had a 360-degree camera.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty cool. That was one of the things that made me like, oh, maybe this VR thing actually is going to happen.
Oh yeah.
There's like there's real value here that I could choose which of his things to look at, and if he moved on to the next piece of art, but I still was interested in this one, I could keep looking at that one, right?
Yeah.
And were you hit by hate bots? I was. I guess these are.
Was that to us or to Speedify? Yeah, the kitten cam was. We got I think twice we got raided by like, you know, a couple hundred bots. But I had actually seen enough people previously get hit by those that I had created a routine to put us in safe mode, which basically shut down everything, like cleared chat, and like gave our moderators time to like go through and boot anyone. So we haven't had that problem again, but yeah.
I have not had that problem yet.
Yeah. Super not fun.
Hi from Rome in this moment for a job. Compliments, Alex. Speedify is hiring. If you go look at our website, I think at the bottom there's a job section. Nice. Feel free. Explains how to send an email and get in the system. So, you know, go look at the jobs, see if any apply to you. We're excited. All right. All right, cool. Me looking at the other comments here. Yes, I guess with you guys, 360-degree cameras in with the cats. I guess that's easy to see how you guys, much more than me personally, what would I do with AR, VR, but
Yeah, no, a 360 cam would be awesome.
360 cam in with the kittens. That'd be great.
Yeah.
All right, I see it. Yeah, and another thing I want NASA to drop some robots on the moon. And
they have
drive them around even just for a couple
Mars,
minutes,
right? My daughter is super into space. We literally last night were watching the live stream from Mars.
Yeah,
it's so cool. Like,
yeah, I've said before, that's the main thing I'm watching live streaming. I watch every Dragon capsule dock with the space station, and every time a billionaire goes into space, I'm watching. I love it. It's what I wanted as a kid. Be blasting off into space. I assume it'll get boring soon, but right now I'm digging it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, AR would be super cool. Used to identify individual fosterkin based on their fur patterns and whatnot.
Yep.
Yeah, Google Photos like recognizes dogs.
Yeah.
It can tell my dog from my brother-in-law's dog, and ask me the name of each one, and I put them in, and now it knows.
So Google actually has it's like a machine learning AI toolkit, and I can't for the life of me think of the name right now, but it helps you create a machine learning modal.
TensorFlow, is that it, or
No, but it's the same thing, but it's Google's version of that essentially. And I was able to create an AI that recognized our different cats. I just don't have the programming know-how to implement it into our live stream.
Right.
But yeah, that would be super cool, and it's definitely something I'd like to get going. We have to keep updating it to, have the profiles of each cat, which shouldn't be that hard. But
sure. Okay, yeah, I guess there's real possibilities here for AR and VR, right?
Yeah.
I guess no use for NFTs. That's the third technology that people are always pitching as the future.
Right. No, when you were talking about the VR experience with the gallery, I was like, oh, the ability to add an NFT to that virtual gallery would be so cool, because you'd just be like, I'm buying this. Now it's not here anymore. Yeah. I've considered doing NFTs for in order to raise fundraise for the cats. That's as close as I can connect NFTs to the kitten cam.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. NFTs, I go back and forth. So many people tell me it's the future.
Yeah.
It must be, but I have a few doubts. Stop there.
Yep.
So if somebody wants to adopt one of the cats, what do they do? Obviously, the real purpose here, right, is to get these cats homes, right?
Right. So our mission is that to save cats from shelters or streets where they're not going to last, basically. So we specialize in very young kittens, as young as just born. We volunteer through Kitten Rescue, so you can find their website at kittenrescue.org. And when our cats and kittens are available for adoption, which is in the Los Angeles area, and they're 8 weeks and 2 pounds or more on either, they're available for adoption. And the process there is you would go through kittenrescue.org, find their adoption form, fill that out. That goes to my wife, Amanda, who is also perfostermama@gmail.com. So you can always get information from her. You can find that email on all of our websites and stuff. So the adoption application goes to her. She reviews it. There's an interview. There's a home inspection. And then that's pretty much it. If you're approved through Kitten Rescue, then you pick the cats up and that's it. Yeah. Kitten Rescue is pretty thorough. They tend to get a little pushback on how thorough they are sometimes, I think. But we make sure that, we're not adopting out to just the first person who wants that cat. We're adopting out to the best possible match for those cats. That being said, we also prioritize adopting in pairs because the kittens that we're dealing with are so young. They're going to have crazy amounts of energy, and they're going to need another kitten around to not just get rid of that energy, but to also learn the boundaries of this hurts, don't do this, things like that. So, in some cases where people already have other kittens or younger cats, we'll adopt out a solo, but for the most part, we adopt out in pairs.
Right. Okay. So for those who don't know, so how much attention does a cat need? Let's say relative to a dog.
A grown cat doesn't need that much attention. They'll tell you how much attention they need. It's, going to be on a cat by cat basis, but for the most part, an adult cat needs relatively little attention. Make sure they're fed, make sure their litter box is constantly clean, they have fresh water. And if they come over for some pets and snuggles, then be there for that until they decide it's too much and they try to bite you, and then it's done. Kittens, depending on their personality, will probably need a little more, mostly just to curb their kitten energy to different things, because they're going to claw things, they're going to scratch things, they're going to chew on stuff that they shouldn't. You're going to find paper and be like, this is a food now. No, it's not, So, people should definitely
is there jealousy between cats?
There can be, for sure. We have 2 house cats that are adults, Anara and Arya, who are very similar names, and that was not intended. And whenever we have fosters, there can definitely be some situations when the adult cats get to go into the foster room, where you're like, yeah, that's a jealousy thing. There's some dominance happening here. But yes, definitely.
The 2 cats that you consider yours, is that right? And the rest
we actually are now in the process of considering 4 cats ours. So we had 2 kittens, Bear and Moose, who have officially moved over to the main house itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So is there anybody who should not get a cat?
I would say there are people who might just not be in the right time to get a cat. Cats are awesome. Anyone could get a cat, unless you have a terrible allergy and an aversion to shots for that allergy medication. Then maybe that person, or someone who's malicious. But for the most part, it's not really like cat people exist. Anyone can be a cat people. There's just different times in our lives where we're going to be in a better position for this. Like, we just went through 2 of the craziest years for fostering, one being the pandemic itself, where suddenly there was an abundance of people who now wanted to adopt because everyone was working from home and nobody was going out. And they're like, well, I'm going to get a cat. Not the right time. The repercussion of that is this year we saw the most returns of adopted animals across the board globally, which clearly states those people were not ready to get cats. It is a 20-year commitment if you treat your cat, well.
Right.
That cat will be there for 2 decades.
Yeah. Dalmatians, right? Disney comes out with a new movie, and apparently it keeps happening. People run out and get Dalmatians, and then 6 months later, they want to know where they can take the Dalmatian back to.
Everyone got Huskies.
Yeah, Huskies. They're
it's a high energy dog.
Very, very verbal too. A lot of them.
Yes. Yeah.
It's kind of
so
incredible.
People just got to know what they're getting into before they get into it.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So let's see. What else? So are you guys in that new Twitch has a new category on animals, aquariums, and zoos. Are you in there?
Yes. I'm super excited about it.
How's it working for you?
It's good. It's a funny timing because we're kind of like in a low point of having actual cats on screen. We've been doing a lot of playlists at night, which is when we don't we have night vision cameras, but unfortunately we don't have young cats right now. So when we have kittens, they're going to be in like a confined area, so we can be like, we'll just have this on night vision. Right now we have older, young cats who are not always going to be on that night vision camera, so we do a playlist. Prior to the new category, we chose to be in science and technology, skirting by on we're very interactive and zoology is a science. And that's where most of the other animal cameras were. Occasionally we would pop over to like just chatting because we do weekly chats where my wife and I will come on and do like a Q&A and give updates on the cats and let people ask us questions and stuff like that. So we do that right now 3 times a week, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays. And so we moved to the just chatting for that. But for the most part, we were on science and technology, and we would get a lot of people like, why are you on science and technology? I'm going to go nerd out and watch nerdy stuff, which is fine. I do that too. But yeah, so
it's so easy to jump to the next stream, right? Not interested in next stream.
Yeah.
I don't see any point in ever leaving anyone a negative comment, right? If it's not working, there's so many streams, just jump to the next one.
Yeah, we definitely haven't seen any trolls since we made the jump to the new category. We've seen a little growth, which is cool. Nerd Karens, says Insomnia. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. Gatekeeping is not cool.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, let people have fun. All right.
Yeah.
What else? So anything else I should be asking you about that I haven't asked you about is the obvious question.
God, there's so many. I could talk probably forever.
Go for it. Go for it.
So,
Twitch says I need more streaming minutes.
Yeah, well, I got nothing to do. My manager was sick today, so. Good. Roland just sent me the private message of exactly what I was going to bring up. So I was talking about the events that we do, like the Halloween thing, and we were gearing up to do like a advent calendar for Catmas, but I don't know that we're going to actually have cats during that time period, so it might not go down. But that being said, this is like a side note to a side note. Cool. Good job, me. Thanks.
Comma.
Yeah. Was it this weekend? There's like 2 national events. One is this coming weekend is like National Adoption Day, and PetSmart is going to be promoting that a lot. And we actually have 2 fosters at an enclosure at a PetSmart right now. And then following Thanksgiving is Giving Tuesday, and the rescue we volunteer through Kitten Rescue does a big push to clear the shelters, where they focus on one specific shelter. Last year, I think we pulled, it was like 70 animals out of that shelter and put them into foster situations. So we will very likely partake in that again, and do a push for that. But then our next real big event on our channel is going to be in February, and it is the SuPURRbowl. And we deck out the room with, all the related sport things. I'm not going to say the actual sport. I have to emphasize it my way or they might come after us. We put a pitch on the bed and we divide the kittens into teams. I think I talked about this a little earlier. Our viewers can then, decide which team has scored a goal through donations and things like that. So I don't know the exact date of when that happens, but it's like very early February at this point.
Nice.
So that's going to be super fun. And that's like our big personal fundraising event to get ready for kitten season, which happens like in March, because we're in Los Angeles and it gets hot immediately. And then there's always cats.
Really?
Somebody says that was
There's
a fun
kitten
thing.
season?
There is. So it's more prominent in places like Philadelphia where there's a winter, but it's definitely a kitten season where cats go into heat in like early spring, and then are having babies, by like, March, April, May, depending on which state you're in, what climate you're in. As far as Los Angeles goes, it's almost always kitten season, but there is a giant spike in those early spring months.
Oh, okay. So now Insomnia Doodles is asking you about the King of the Hill game.
So on my personal stream, twitch.tv/SamProof, I have, using the Mix It Up bot that we use to control all the interactives in the cat stream, I've created a King of the Hill game. And there's basically an overlay in like the top left of the stream, which like puts on somebody's avatar, whoever the reigning ruler is. And then through channel points and other commands, people can attempt to take over that hill. And it started as a community project where I basically said, I'm going to create a series of rules. You can, as a viewer, suggest a new rule. And if it gets community support, we'll make that rule a reality. So the initial rule was just there'll be a king, there'll be an attacker, and if the attacker rolls higher than the king, they take over. And then that was turned into they both roll 1 die 20, and then there's more rules put on top of that. Like if you roll a 20, you get to roll a second die, and so on and so forth. And then we added like walls and taxes and spies and sabotage and catapults. So yeah, it's been like an ongoing coding project. And I got to the point where I was like, I think I need to actually learn how to program my own chat bot and turn this into its own thing.
Nice. All right. So There may be a similar game for the cat stream eventually.
Well, yeah. So if I can actually turn this into its own chatbot and Twitch extension, I would be able to open that up to any other Twitch streamer to use in their stream, as well as the kitten cam. And then you'd be able to skin it, so it wouldn't just be King of the Hill; it'd be King of the Cat Tree.
Right. Okay. So this has been inspirational. I can't believe I haven't thought about tying bots in. I mean, that's like,
oh yeah,
my kind of thing. Well, why have I not thought about that?
Well,
All right, so I'm going to steal some ideas from you here, Sam.
No, we could do a follow up. I could guide you through setting up a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I have all sorts of Raspberry Pis and Wi-Fi powered switches and lava lamps and stuff sitting around here.
That's good.
I don't think I even need to purchase anything to do something strange.
Oh, I forgot. We actually had a Raspberry Pi device at one time. So this is the Mouse Air, which would get like a toy mouse here and would track it up and shoot it. And it's powered by a Raspberry Pi. But one of the cats decided to go straight to the source and launched it off the counter, and it no longer works. But for a while, our viewers could do that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Darn it. All right. Nice. Well, we're coming up on an hour here. So, I mean, anyone has any here we go. Yeah. I will watch your streams.
Cool.
And watch you work on these things.
Yeah. My personal stream will be I'll be live tomorrow at like 2 p.m. Pacific time.
Okay. So about this time, 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Eastern. All right. This was awesome. Thank you. I think we're coming up on an hour, so I will let you go because I know you have cats to watch for.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, awesome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us, and thank you to everyone in the audience, Insomnia Doodles and Kane and everybody else who posted comments. We really appreciate hearing from you. Lets us know that somebody cares. All right. Thanks, Sam.
All right. Thanks so much.
All right. Good night, everybody.